Alright, and welcome back. This is going to be a quick video just showing some of the preparation for the skins. The instructions have you dimple everything before you do anything else, and so I went a step ahead and I'm taping off all the sections and I'm going to scuff the skins before I dimple. I think I've talked about it before in that whenever you're going to use the Scotch-Brite, the purple Scotch-Brite pad to scuff up the skins, it's a whole lot easier to do it before you dimple. The dimples really tear up the Scotch-Brite pad, so I always do the scuffing first and then dimple. So that's what I'm doing here. Like I talked about in the last video, put in the ribs and mark those off with the tape, and what you just saw there was marking off the J stiffener that goes across the top of the skin. And now I'm about to put in the baffles or the stiffeners on the bottom of the skin and do the same to those, tape them off. And then I'm taking an X-Acto knife to cut out the tape at the intersection points. So it's, like I said, a lot easier to do it this way than dimple the skins. I use a C-frame dimpler, and then you'll see that in the next video. And then after that, it's pretty much you're almost at the point where you're ready to put in Pro-Seal. And so the thing I've done is I've done all the prep work for all the parts and pieces that you will assemble as with the sealant, and trying to get everything so it's ready to go, and try to minimize time that you're wasting with the sealant, because it only lasts so long. I've got a larger cartridge, which is good if you're doing a lot of stuff that's ready to go, but if you are having to take a lot of extra time in preparing pieces, deburring and things like that while the sealant is mixed and curing, then you don't get a whole lot of use out of it. And so last night I was able to put in the bottom stiffeners, the things I'm just working on taping off here, and I had one of the larger sealant canisters, and I got about 3/4 of the use of it before it became too hard and was no longer usable. I got all the stiffeners in, and I was able to get some of the holes filled that needed a rivet to close up. All of the ribs have 2 holes that are basically positioners when they're doing the hydro press to make the shape, and so you got to put in a rivet on the outside ribs to close those holes up. And so that was part of the process I was doing last night. So anyway, here, like I said, just taping everything off, getting it ready to scuff up, and then it'll just be a matter of dimpling and then getting everything else ready. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm taking that Scotch-Brite pad and just going through and scuffing up the face of the skins, and again keeping it inside the marked off areas there. So that's where the surface will meet with the flange, and you've done the same thing to the flange also. You've taken the Scotch-Brite pad and roughed it up also, and it just creates a nice rough surface so that the sealant can really grab onto and adhere to it. So that's all you're doing here. It's a bit of elbow grease type work, but it goes by pretty quickly. Like I said, you just want to make sure it's nice and rough so it has a good surface to adhere to. And then I take some acetone and wipe down and try to get up as much of the dust and all that you can. That's what I'm doing here. So it's a pretty simple process, but leaving it taped off, that's the other thing. Once you've done all the scuffing, you want to leave the tape there so that when you put the piece in and you put the sealant on there and then put the rib or the stiffener in place, then you can peel up the tape and it'll peel off any excess. Because when you lay it out the way I did it, I used a little squeezer which with a nozzle, and it made a little stream of sealant. And then I take a flat piece. I used plastic knives that I'd cut off flat, and then use those to spread it out evenly across the surface area. And then you put the piece on there and then let it cure, and then you can pull up the tape and pull up the excess instead of having a whole bunch of glop, all around the tanks. So anyway, like I said, this is a quick video. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave it down below. Otherwise, if you could, hit that like button for me, and hopefully get more people to come across these videos. So we'll see you next time around.